Hi, my name is Sarita Gibbons, and I'm the owner for Comprehensive Grants Management. Comprehensive Grants Management is a grant writing firm. We work with organizations all over the country to assist them to write their grant applications. Here I have with me today Aquarius Van Goshry. That's such a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Aquarius Van Goshry is a public housing resident for the district.
The District of Columbia Housing Authority, which is one of approximately 39 housing authorities that's a New York Housing Authority.
Yes.
And most people get confused and don't know what move to work means. But it doesn't mean that you live in public housing or you're mandatory forced to move to work. It's a name that HUD came up with a program that allows flexibility for housing authorities not to go through all of the HUD red tights. And what makes us so unique is that we're not even a state, and we're one of 39, and we are in New York Housing.
And you're proud of it.
Yes, that was a great accomplishment under our former director, Adrian Todman, who is now the CEO of NARA.
Great lady. Great lady. Okay, so that's very good to know. Can you tell me a little bit about your upbringing? What was Aquarius like when she was 12, 13 years old?
12, 13 years of age. I grew up in Washington, D.C. I'm a product of the District of Columbia ghettos. And I'm also a product of the Title I programs, which was the school system in the district, which was a track system. So I lived at 736th Street, which is now a parking lot for anybody who's going to the center to see in Chinatown. It's called first the conventions, the Verizon Center, now it's called Capitol. So that was my playground. Chinatown was my playground, nothing like it was today. It had a Burmese Laundry. We would play kickball in the alley. Yeah, because I grew up in a multicultural neighborhood. The majority of my neighbors were Chinese. Yeah.
Do you know any Chinese?
No, I don't speak any Chinese. I really don't. However,
do you understand a little bit?
Sometimes,
Okay.
yes, because I've had the opportunity to spend night in my neighbor's house. We were a close-knit neighborhood to have one white family, the majority Chinese. One side of the street was predominantly black with SROs, that's single room occupancy.
Right.
And the other side of the street was slum landlords. And I live on the slum landlord side. And I attended Calvary Baptist Church for their activities because we didn't have a recreation center in my neighborhood other than the monument, playing in all the museums, running in water fountains that we didn't supposed to be in, being chased by the police at Union Station with the water fountain. And then on 6th Street, there is the art gallery, the Gallery of Art. So that particular museum, that waterfall, a lot of people don't know it. It has zodiac signs all around it, and that was our swimming pool until when they was building La Farm Plaza, we would walk to East Potomac, we called it. We called it the Tidal Basin, to go swimming. And we would go up this hill, run down this hill, go swimming, come back home, be just as high as we started out. But it was a very multicultural experience. I was in Girl Scouts, the Brownies, and I was mischievous.
Were you now? You sound very active and very interactive, doing all of these things. And that's how we met. So here we are at the 2019 inaugural conference, and you're a resident attending the conference, representing your development, representing the housing authority. And that's really good because a lot of public housing residents, they don't do that. So can you tell me why you are so active in the community and why other residents should be active in their communities, especially public housing communities?
Right now, nationally, public housing is the only affordable housing in the United States of America based on square footage. And with that knowledge, public housing is the only homes for many of your underemployed and your economical, socially challenged residents of all color. I'm an urban study major. I'm a product of Federal City College, which is one of the only, which is a land grant college in the District of Columbia, because it's not the only one, because we also have Gallaudet, the only hearing impaired college here. And being that I was always interested in urban study, social planning, but the concentration was on policy analysis. So and my mother was one of those women who was active in the Black Panther movement and a lot of other movements, and so we had to attend those movements with her. So I came up in a family with women who were always involved in social, culturally, injustice, including my grandmother with her church.
So you definitely feel that strong civic pull to be
It's a bond.
responsible. What's your vision or your goal for yourself within public housing at the Housing Authority? Where would you like to see the Housing Authority? What type of programs would you like to see them continue or expand on or create at the Housing Authority?
Well, with the District of Columbia Housing Authority, I'm the president of Potomac Gardens, a family community, and you get elected for that. You familiar with the structure of resident councils?
Resident
And
council.
correct. I started out actually when I moved into public housing. I was taught by my grandmother that wherever you live at, you need to understand the laws, the regulations, your lease, your environment, know your environment, and understand who the players are in your environment. Because before you get in the environment, you have to be a player on the board yourself, regardless of your economical status. So with that rule in mind, I knew that the moment I moved into Potomac Gardens that I was going to attend resident council meetings, and eventually I was the vice president. From being the vice president, I excelled and I became a commissioner, and at the District of Columbia Housing Authority with a 12-member board, 3 of those members have to be public housing residents. And so we have a senior commissioner and at-large commissioner, and I am the family commissioner over 28 different properties, and it's a volunteer position. We get a stipend, we get a small stipend, but the bulk of the work is you have to have an interest in social injustice, but beyond that part, one of the things I want to see nationwide is a hub, I'm saying HUB,
Yes.
center that would train resident leaders and residents who want to become resident council presidents, vice president, secretary, treasurer, along with continuing educating their commissioners, whether they're elected or appointed. Because without being trained, it is a difficult situation for commissioners to make, or resident council presidents, to make decisions on contracts that impacts gentrification, dismantlement of their communities.
Let me repeat what you just said. So you're saying you want there to be a formal training that's at the federal level from DC that trains the residents so that they can be a part of resident associations, resident councils, and play more an active role in public housing. But they can be more active residents, and they should go through a formal training process to be taught about the rules, regulations, how they contribute to public housing.
And to extend that even further, the hub mission would be not to teach them how to vote, but would teach them to choose. And there's a difference when you're teaching the method of the tools. Because with the tools is the terminology, the vocabulary, the case studies, understanding your area, medium income of your single member district or your county or your region, to identify where your public housing is, because most public housing is, and what most people truly forget, is that we are public and Indian housing.
Right.
So,
I noticed you emphasized that when you asked your question. You kept on saying public and Indian housing, public and Indian housing. Most people will say public housing, but it is public and Indian housing. That's true.
and see, that's the first education, because the first education is research. And if you research just public housing, you may go astray. But if you research public and Indian housing, you will get the true history of how HUD and the whole formation began in the United States of America. Because most of 24 CFR, which is the Code of Federal Register, that is what I call the Quran, the Holy Book, the scrolls, public housing. Because that is the legislation by Congress that give public housing residents nationwide rules. And the issue there is the rules in that standard are flawed. And so I see that as a weakness nationally. Now, just focusing on public housing in the District of Columbia, just locally, I have reached out, I'm reaching out to our mayor, Muriel Bowser, and hoping that with our community college that she could incorporate this idea that I have, because it's not nothing new. I came out of DC Agenda, a program that was started by former mayor of the District of Columbia, Anthony Williams, and you could Google DC Agenda. And that is a very good model to teach residents nationwide the tools of how you campaign. Not telling you what the issues are,
But just how to
but
do
to
it.
how to do it, why to do it, when to do it. You know, how to identify issues. You identify issues by going into the community and allowing residents to identify the issues, and you incorporating what you're going to advocate for within their issues.
I very much hear you loud and clear about providing that formal training to residents on the how to do what they need to do to be more active, effective, and efficient in public housing. And the reiteration of public housing is not just public housing, but it's public and Indian housing. So those two key takeaways from you today, I so appreciate them. I very much appreciate your time too, Ms. Aquarius Van Gershie. Gashri.
GHASR.
I so much appreciate your time. Thank you for having this interview with us. I'm Sarita Gibbons with Comprehensive Grants Management here at the NARUL conference, talking to executive directors, CEO presidents, and also residents of public and Indian housing. Thank you again.
Thank you.